Mounting protest over new airline rules for flights to Thailand amid calls for an urgent lockdown. Bangkok, Thai nationals in the UK and European countries are having difficulty obtaining the medical certification stipulated by the Civil Aviation Authority for flights to Thailand from the weekend, nor can they arrange the health insurance cover also required. Meanwhile, there are growing calls for the country to be placed in lockdown, bringing an end to the confusion. Thai nationals in the UK and Europe are up in arms over the new travel restrictions which come into force next Saturday and Sunday for all flights originating anywhere in the world to Thailand. The double burden over medical certification and health insurance coverage in respect of the virus, as it was termed on Friday by one upset Thai mother whose student daughter is planning to return home next week, has led to officials in Bangkok meeting to discuss the situation. Meanwhile, with 50 new cases announced today and an escalation of infections, there are growing calls for an urgent lockdown of the kingdom as the public watches what has happened in mainland Europe. There are a rising number of complaints to Thai embassies and consular offices in Europe over the proposed new measures to take effect on Saturday for high-risk countries and after Sunday, for all countries impacting everyone flying to Thailand. The measures were announced by the governor of the Civil Aviation Authority, Chula Sukmanop, on Wednesday. The measure was expanded to all countries based on a statement from the Prime Minister on Thursday. Airlines must have sight of medical certs and health insurance cover of $100,000 in respect of the virus. The new requirements mean airlines must have sight of medical certificates stating that passengers are free of the COVID-19 virus and have health coverage for $100,000 specifically for the disease. The measures apply to Thai as well as foreign travelers entering Thailand. However, some weeks ago, officials in Bangkok clarified that it was not possible to enforce a health insurance requirement for Thai nationals in respect of South Korea after many Thai passengers were turned away at Seoul's Incheon International Airport. 1,200 complaints so far at the Thai UK Embassy. For now, it is the medical certificate requirement that is occupying the minds of Thai returnees abroad. The Thai Embassy in London has recorded, so far, over 1,200 complaints about the matter. The confirmed orders specify a medical certificate which states that the passenger poses no risk of being infected by the coronavirus disease, COVID-19. This poses two insurmountable problems for people who have already booked their flights. Doctors not in a position to issue medical certs. The first is that many doctors in the UK or European countries based on professionalism and ethics, cannot give such an assurance. Many professionals in these countries live in fear of legal suits, with rising medical malpractice insurance costs being one of the greatest concerns for working doctors. Emergency health situation in the UK and Europe. The second is that in this current state of emergency throughout the health services in Europe and the United Kingdom, it is very difficult and expensive to arrange for an appointment with a doctor to get such a certificate. Not to mention the health risk involved. Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok is aware of the problems being experienced in the UK and Europe. A spokesman for Thailand's foreign ministry has confirmed that the message has been heard. Churdkiat Thakur, a spokesman for the ministry, said he was aware of the problem people are experiencing obtaining medical certificates in Europe and that the issues raised were being discussed by relevant state agencies involved. He also indicated that embassies and consulates would try to assist Thai nationals to deal with the matter and will remain in contact. Mother of 20-year-old Thai student in Plymouth vents her frustration at double burden rules being applied. One of the travelers stranded is a 20-year-old Thai student returning home from Plymouth. She has been booked on a flight for Friday, March 27. Her mother explained the conundrum. What are these requirements for? It's impossible to get only a health certificate. The requirement for the embassy letter is a double burden. She explained that she was also told that the medical certificate cannot be issued by the Thai embassy in London without sight of the health coverage. Foreign embassy staff critical of the restrictive, impractical provisions and orders announced. An unidentified Thai diplomat, working in Europe, was also highly critical of the government's orders. Speaking to the Bangkok Post on Friday, he expanded on the situation. In many countries in Europe, medical appointments must be made in advance in the health system. For private clinics, also, the patients must be referred by a doctor in a hospital. He warned that this process posed tremendous difficulties to travelers during what is a heightened emergency in Europe where infections and indeed deaths from the virus are skyrocketing. Nobody will accept appointments for medical checkups, he said. 50 new infections on Friday. Meanwhile, Thailand has announced another 50 infections on Friday, many of them linked to foreign visitors and travelers coming from outside the kingdom. A briefing was given by Dr. Suwanachaiwatnang Chairwanchai, the Director General of the Disease Control Department. Former parliamentary speakers call for a limited lockdown halting all arrivals into Thailand. The current situation is drawing calls for the government to place the kingdom in lockdown by restricting personal movement and halting all flights into the country. A more limited proposal was presented to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and President of the Thai Parliament, Chuan Leekpai, on Friday by two former Speakers of the Senate, Sushan Shalikrua and Nikom Ratpanak. The Speaker promised to forward it to Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. Parliament should discuss the virus situation and measures required as a critical point approaches. The veteran parliamentarians also called for more involvement of the body in deliberations on the virus. The proposals presented to the Speaker came from a meeting of no less than 6 former Speakers of both Houses of Parliament who met to discuss the crisis, which is now reaching a critical point. The proposal made by the former parliamentary leaders would see all inbound traffic to Thailand halted, meaning the closure of Thailand's borders except for the shipping of goods and freight. They have stopped short of calling for restrictions on internal movement or non-essential business and personal lockdowns such as we have seen in Europe and indeed China. Some experts are suggesting that only such draconian measures can work and that they must be for at least a 3 to 4 week period. Civic groups call for a far more robust approach from the government, calling for a state of emergency. On Thursday, an array of 48 civic groups addressed the government. They called for a ramping up of measures to a Phase 3 response now. They also wanted to see the government ensure a quick response to treat and isolate those infected amid reports, even now, of limited health system resources and beds being available. The group called for all entry to and departures from the kingdom to be suspended for 3 weeks and for the government to declare a state of emergency. This would limit public gatherings to not more than 5 people. Countries should be placed on a war footing. They want to see the government focus on sourcing supplies and readying facilities to put the country on a war footing against the disease outbreak, which leading doctors have said is now certain to develop into a widespread transmission situation. Given the rising number of infections with record numbers announced on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the situation may already be materializing. Further reading. New travel orders will make flying to Thailand very onerous for all passengers from Sunday. Thailand faces lockdown if Phase 3 breaks out as the numbers infected more than treble in 1 week. Bars and massage parlors ordered to close in Bangkok and Pattaya as officials say virus is still local. Another record rise in infections on Monday as top virologist predicts widespread transmission in Thailand. Fears that Thailand could be on the verge of a Phase 3 breakout with 32 new infections in 1 day. And Newton is proposing to close all bars and music venues including nightclubs and go-go's. Thailand extends quarantine rule for Western countries including the US and the UK over virus. Thai Deputy Prime Minister Newton warns the public to be wary of dirty white Western tourists who don't shower.